how AI is about to change your life if you are an economic development professional, especially if you work in monitoring and evaluation. And even if you are an implementing professional, you're about to discover an amazing tool. Hello, welcome to this fantastic episode. And I'm really excited about this discussion I'm about to have with an expert. This is an AI expert that has developed a tool that is amazing for monitoring and evaluation professionals. But they continue to enhance the service and the product to the extent that if you're an implementing person like myself, this is about to change your life. It makes things a lot better, a lot quicker, a lot more accurate, and which is what we look for in economic development. So let me stop talking and introduce you to the man behind the product. Hello and welcome, Rob. How are you?
Hi, Al. Yeah, I'm great. Thanks so much for inviting me. It's really exciting to talk to you this morning.
Fantastic, fantastic. No, I think I've seen the product. I think it's an amazing product. It'd be really good if you can introduce yourself and your company and your product to my audience.
Of course. Yeah. So me and my co-founder Chris have been doing artificial intelligence for about the last 15 years. And so that makes us sort of old dogs in this area. And we've been doing it a long time before it's become sexy over the last 2 years. We had a previous company in the UK that was all around building predictive algorithms to predict which properties were going to sell over a period of time and at what price. And we sold that to a UK company called Rightmove. And then we came out of that and we'd had a great experience. We wanted to do something completely different and we wanted to do something with more impact. So we've been developing this product for the last year and a half, and it really focuses on monitoring and evaluation that you mentioned, and also on training. So what we do is we looked at the landscape of monitoring and evaluation, and to be honest, I didn't know much about it until a year and a half ago when we were talking to people at UNICEF and other NGOs. But there were three bits of technology that were hitting all at the same time, which we found really exciting as you could put them together. So the first was a digital avatar that can be any ethnicity and speak any language.
Right.
And given the amount of, areas that NGOs and the development sector cover, that's really, really important. Even in Africa alone, there are thousands of languages.
Yes.
The second part was transcription and translation has really improved so that we could train it on a context so that, if we were doing something maternal child health, we could make sure that we really understand what people said. And the last piece was you could take large language models and technology we built as well, and you could analyze all that. And that just brings huge possibilities in terms of cost, in terms of improving programs, and really changing how monitoring and evaluation is done, which is a $1 billion industry all on its own, the amount of money that's spent on M&E. So we think that we can make it cheaper, faster, and hopefully improve programs. I don't want to tell you we know everything. We're still very new. But we think it's a really exciting time.
No, I mean, fantastic. All right, thanks for that introduction. And one of the things I found amazing when you did the demo for me is the fact that as a monitor and evaluation professional or even a development program, you don't have to leave your office. You essentially have a phone numbers that you can send this avatar to, and the avatar will call the phone of the beneficiaries and interview them, and it will compile the data, analyze the data, and write a report. That's about what it is, right?
That's exactly it. So if you've got someone's phone number, they can either have a feature phone, which we can call over the top, and we can use the voice technology, or we can just send them a link to their smartphone. And what that means is that we can access all these people straight away, and instead of talking to one person, you can be talking to thousands. And the question people are going to ask is, why use avatars? Well, the truth is, if you're talking to someone, you have a much better conversation than you do just over the phone. If it looks like you, if it's got the same accent as you, it really, really matters. We've done tests. We've done tests on this with phone versus, an avatar. So we know that if you can have an avatar, you generally get better responses. And I'm talking about things like when we interview refugees, when we interview HIV patients, you often will get more words that a person could say to the avatar than they could if they were being interviewed face to face sometimes. And that's generally because of stigma or fear of talking about things that are sensitive within their community. There are some downsides of an avatar too, which are that, it doesn't have empathy. It's just one-way communication for now, but it means you can talk to many more people and you can collect really verifiable, useful data and hopefully collect your impact in more details. And then, as you mentioned, the reporting is another piece. We like to think that people sort of get excited sometimes about the sexiness of the avatars and it's new and exciting, but actually they stay with us because the reporting function means that instead of having to sit and write a report and translate the report, the AI does 80 to 90% of the heavy lifting.
I mean, this is fantastic. I mean, genuinely though, this is revolutionary for a professional such as myself. So if I can sit in my office, design a training program, and then push out this training program to thousands of potential beneficiaries, and it's almost like sort of like on-demand type courses, right? That this is how it works. You send it, and all of those beneficiaries can access the training on their phone, either by voice or by an avatar that speaks their own language, teach them whatever it is that's in the training course. That's essentially what this is, isn't it?
Yeah, so monitoring evaluation is the thing that we've been doing for the last year and a half. That's now working in 20 countries. Training is relatively new. And the reason training is interesting is because, so I'll give you a real life case study. So we did a big piece of research recently in Kenya, Uganda, and Zambia on maternal and child health. Now, there are a number of things you can't change easily, especially if you're not the government. So you can't build better roads, you can't give people more money. So there are poverty and infrastructure challenges that are hard. But actually what you can do is you can leapfrog some of those challenges with technology. And one of the reasons that the sad fact of the mortality rate is in those three countries and across many parts of Africa is a lack of training and a lack of knowledge for some of the community health workers, which are the backbone of the healthcare system in many of these countries, and also some of the nurses and doctors. And the challenge is that training is very expensive. So you have to run face-to-face training, or people have tried to run, training over the phone. It's not very engaging at all. What you need to do is you need to have a digital, low-cost, conversational approach. And that's what AI is able to do. For the first time, and this is truly exciting because I've been doing this for a long time, and you couldn't do this until probably 6 months, 9 months ago, is to train the AI on a context. So we know that it's only talking about verified WHO data. So let's imagine we're training someone on the danger signs of newborns.
Mm-hmm.
And, here's what, an infected umbilical cord could look like. Someone can ask that question. What does an infected umbilical cord look like when they're actually in the field, with a mother or a newborn? And it will have a conversation with them and give them the facts that they need at their fingertips. It's not just a brochure we say, read it, because we know no one reads it, right? It's a conversation that can be knowledge on the go. And that's where I think this is the change. It's still in its infancy. We still need to improve it, but we're rolling that out to 10 hospitals at the moment in those three countries.
No, I think this is exciting. I mean, genuinely, this is amazing, and I'm happy that we're having this discussion, and in the hope that professionals will begin to really engage with this sort of system and feed it with all of the potential contextual issues, so to make it even better than it is at the moment. But let's talk about the M&E aspect of this, which is you've done this in several countries already, and I just want to be very clear. Please correct me if I'm wrong. So, to do an M&E survey or a baseline, you design a tool, and this tool will be given to the AI, and the AI will translate that into some sort of conversation with the beneficiaries. And the AI is capable of calling the beneficiaries to have this conversation, or if they have a smartphone, a link will be sent to them, and the beneficiaries can have a conversation with the AI by clicking on the link, and then have this back and forth with the AI. So it's not like one directional. It's basically a conversation between the AI and the beneficiaries in their own language.
Yeah, so it is one directional in the sense that for the M&E product, the one we launched first, we send someone a link with the avatar, they click on the link, and then the avatar pops up, which I'll show everyone in a second. And then that avatar has an introduction. So they say who it's from, what the survey's about, and then it asks a set of questions. Right. So that's one way, and it's one way because that's the simplest thing we can do in a relatively low bandwidth scenario. Right. So, for example, when we do work with Norwegian Refugee Council in a war zone like Sudan for their cash assistance program, we need something that's robust, that can work both online and it can also work offline as well. People just respond to the questions that NRC need, and then we can give them that data. So that's how it works. But it's meant to be very good for low literacy environments. So you're talking, you're not typing, which is really important. And also it's meant to work in relatively low bandwidth as well. So it can work in 3G, 3.5. And if people only have a feature phone, we call over the top. So we just do the same technology with a phone call, which has been around for a long time. But the nice thing is if you combine those two mixed methods, you're getting quite a good throughput of information. And the funny thing is that what I was surprised about, what you're always scared about when you launch new businesses, it sounds like a good idea in your bedroom. Will it actually work? And the truth is that people are quite willing often, as long as they understand why, to open up to an avatar. So we do get quite good qualitative sort of thoughts and perceptions.
Fantastic. Do you know what would be really nice is if you can share if you can demo this thing for our audience, so they see exactly how this works, so they can begin to get a clearer understanding of it. So I'll just get you to share your screen with us in a sec.
Yep, let me just do that now. Okay. So what people are going to see is they're going to see an avatar. This link would have been sent to someone's mobile phone, or it can be put up in a health center. We do a number of those things. We'll just let the avatar introduce herself and then maybe just ask one question, and then I'll come back, and then we'll also show you some of the output as well. So let me just there now.
Hello, I'm Grace, your virtual interviewer. We are conducting this survey on behalf of the Catholic Medical Mission Board in collaboration with the government and other partners, with the hope of collecting information that helps us design interventions towards improving health outcomes for you and your community in the future. We will treat your answers with ultimate discretion, so please feel free to say what you really think is important. When you answer our questions during this survey, we will record your video and verbal responses. If, for whatever reason, you would not like to be recorded, please feel free to stop at any time. Now, if you'd like to continue, here's how this will work. When you press the red button below, I will ask you your first question. There is no rush, so please take your time in answering it. And then when you are finished, please press the red button again and I will ask you the next question. When you are ready, press the red button below and I will ask you the first question.
So then we just press the red button.
How many nurses are currently working in your health facility?
And it's going to struggle because we're doing the screen share, but usually it would record my
How many medical officers are currently working?
So essentially, I'll stop screen sharing there. So it's essentially there it's asking the questions, we are then talking back to it, and we transcribe it, translate it in the cloud, and we then delete. Often, for most customers, we delete the audio and the video file just for privacy purposes. Yeah. And that's how we collect all the data. Exactly. And is it worth just showing a quick output of what people can expect in terms of yeah. Let me just do that as well. So I'll just screen. That's going to be probably easier for us to show. So here's something we did for the Inter-American Development Bank. So for those who don't know, they're probably one of the biggest donors in Latin America. They invest mainly in vulnerable populations who they're trying to take out of poverty, but also in really interesting businesses as well. So this was one of their portfolio companies called Galgo. And here what we did is we sent the avatar to 10,000 people, and we did the same process of transcribing and translating and developing these AI-driven insights. So we sent it to 10,000 people. As you can see, about 1,000 people started the survey and about 600 people completed it. So you don't need to do it at this scale. And it massively matters what the context is. So these people might have bought a motorcycle, 3 years ago, right? So they haven't heard from Galgo for quite a while. So it's a pretty cold list. And just a brief explanation, what Galgo do is they provide motorcycles for migrants, often from Venezuela, and they give credit to those migrants so they're able to buy a motorbike and increase their income and get around. So it's a really great way of getting people out of poverty, earning money and earning, sort of getting permanent jobs as well. So we do just briefly, we do some A/B testing. So we test whether a male avatar is better than a female avatar. In this case, and in most cases, to be honest, the female avatar works better. And here are some of the themes and insights. So one of the things that IDB Lab are particularly interested in is impact assessment. So for every dollar they spend, are they getting, good impact back? So one of the things they're interested in here is, do people who are able to access a moto who wouldn't be able to normally, does it help them get a job or increase their income? And the second thing is, does it help them overcome job market barriers? And then, lastly, is it useful for women? Because Galgo have a smaller portion of their population or their customer base is women, but it's a really important function for them as well. So I won't go through the whole presentation, but essentially here, and I won't play this video because it's obviously private, it is blurred, but we're saying how many people had a positive impact on their lives. Here are some verbatim quotes that people said that we've translated from Spanish to English. And here are some of the things, like we look at their first impressions, and we look at, well, who cares about speed and simplicity? Who cares about financial accessibility? How can they improve their service? We ask questions around the quality of life. Does it improve someone's quality of life? What was interesting here is people express gratitude. So, if you spend enough time in the UK, we don't really think about our banks as places that we're really grateful for, right? They're just a utility. But for this population especially, there was this great feeling of gratitude. And then we also asked things like, was it the first time you got a loan? Did it increase your income? Was it good for migrants, and what could they improve? But we also looked at, what were people dissatisfied with? What could they improve? So it's a pretty holistic look across, 600 people in Chile and Peru on all of these issues that the Development Bank and Galgo themselves are interested in terms of improving. And, instead of costing, tens and tens of thousands of pounds, this is obviously a lot cheaper to do because it's purely remote, and the AI is doing a lot of the crunching of the information as well. So yeah, that's what we're doing, and we're hoping to extend that with the Inter-American Bank at the moment, trying to understand all about vulnerability. So how do we measure vulnerability? And the exciting thing is that we're able to talk to them on a longitudinal basis in a way that a consultant can't, because, digitally we can send this to people every 3 to 6, 9 months if they completely a job training program. And we can see, have they got a job, or have they kept their job, or have they got promoted? And we can track impact over time. And that's where I think hopefully some impact investors and also NGOs will want to do in a way that, you're an implementing guy, right? You know how this works. You do your program, you spend your money, you try and get your impact, and then you have to move on. What I'm interested in is, can we look at impact over time? Can we look at what happened with programs? Can we improve the programs faster? So that's the kind of thing this technology allows us to do.
I mean, it's fantastic. I mean, the cost effectiveness of it in the first place, right? Because some of the things that as an implementer, some of the things that I want to do, I can't do because of time, resources, financial resources, and all other type of resources you require. Especially when you're working in difficult areas, you're going to need transportation, security, and all of the sort of things. But if you are able to have all of the work that you would necessarily go and do facing the beneficiaries, you can do it remotely. That's fantastic. But one clarification, though, I just want people to be clear that the number crunching was done by the AI, but the presentation you just gave, that was basically generated by a human, you.
Yeah, so what happens is essentially we take all the raw data. So we've got a corpus of information. What's interesting about that is that when you ask a question, people ramble, right? So you might ask question 1 and people might not really answer your question, but question 4, they might sort of answer question 1, right? So you need a holistic way to look at that. So what we do is we develop a AI codebook. So qualitative researchers will know what that is. It's been around for many years in qualitative research, but the AI generates that for us, and then we code to write essentially reports. So the design of that report is totally done by a person, but the actual output of the text and the finding of the appropriate quotes and understanding sort of the nodes of qualitative research is done more and more by artificial intelligence. So when we do, and we can put this in the show notes for people who want to read it. We've got a very long maternal and child health 70-page report in those 3 countries. That's 80% done by artificial intelligence now, about 20% done by a person. And long term, that'll be 95% done by artificial intelligence. So it does save a lot of time. There are some downsides using artificial intelligence. So, you do need expertise to understand some of the potential problems. And I think that's why the idea that AI is going to take everyone's jobs or destroy the world or maybe save the world are kind of ridiculous. Like, it's just a tool. And actually, there's this idea of co-intelligence. So AI is good at crunching a lot of stuff, but humans still have really good contextual knowledge of, let's say, maternal and child or refugees or migrants or, some of the things you do in the entrepreneurship communities. So that's where I think this sort of co-pilot, this co-intelligence comes in. And I don't think that's going to change for a very long time, actually.
No, it's exciting stuff. And I'm so happy that you touched on job loss and potential development professionals become redundant. I think that's the fear that most people have. But what this does essentially is just allows you to do a lot more, or to have a lot more impact with the work that you do at the moment. So for every hour you spend creating interventions that will change people's life, you change a whole lot more people's life than ordinarily you can do now, because you have this incredible tool. So, well, no, thank you very much. I know this has gone on for a bit longer than planned, but we've talked about the product. We've talked about exactly what it does and what the benefits are. What we've not talked about is you, in terms of the name of your company, where people can find you, and if there's anybody that's really interested in pushing this sort of stuff in their own program or in their own profession, where would they be able to get hold of you?
Sure. So they can go to our website, which is www.Fortell.ai, or they can just drop me an email at rob@Fortell.ai. So relatively simple. I'm on LinkedIn, and I'm my dad's first job was selling horse manure door to door. So I am the son of a shit seller. So it's very easy for people to get in touch with me, and I'm very keen to sell to them and have conversations. My dad always says that if people moan that their product is crap, they should try and sell real shit for a living. Hopefully our product's good. So no, the people can get in touch with me, and we'd love to have conversations. We know that we aren't, that we don't have the depth of experience in implementing that you do. And, that's why I enjoyed our conversations with Roby, and I'm enjoying this conversation now. And there are lots of people who know way more about the challenges they're facing than we do. We're really technologists, and we're trying to help solve the problems that you're trying to solve as well. So that's why having these types of conversations is super valuable to us, because we don't quite know what to build unless we get the feedback. So we're always happy to talk to people and have conversations like this.
Fantastic. Thank you very much, Rob. I really, really appreciate the time you spared to talk to us. And I think really this is fantastic for us in development. If you're in economic development, an MRM professional, collaboration, learning, and adaptation professional, this is a tool that you really need to get familiar with and begin to think about how you can engage with Fortell to really have a discussion about how to make these tools better and to tailor it to serve the purpose in which your program is trying to achieve. So thank you very much, Rob. I really appreciate the time, and thank you all for watching this episode. We definitely will leave all of the details of the product and the company and Rob's contact details in the show notes in the comment section. But please, if you have any question about this particular episode and this product, please reach out to me, and I'll put you in touch with Rob, and he'll be able to answer the questions. So thank you very much for watching, and see you next time.